So we'll be talking a lot about behavior, human behavior specifically, but I want to just give you a little bit about my background. I've retired in January from the military. I did 20 years in the U.S. Navy, and I was not in the regular side of the Navy. I worked in the expeditionary and intelligence communities, and I've spent the better part of that 20 years developing tactics and techniques for intelligence operations and intelligence personnel for all of our agencies and for all of our military intelligence personnel as well. And those tactics specifically had to be designed to talk someone into doing something that might not be in their best interest. Our core system that we put together, that we teach around the world now, was designed to be used in an operation where I've got to send somebody, like you've got to go to Ukraine. You have 2 hours to sit with a guy at a bar, and within those 2 hours you have to convince him to commit treason against his own country, spy for the United States, and face the death penalty. So that's kind of where everything started, and I think behavior matters a lot. And we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, but if you read anything about body language or nonverbal communication, you'll see that some of the reports say that it's about 93% of communication, which I don't fully agree with. I can't show you guys a movie in Hindu and ask you what they're saying. So we can kind of conservatively estimate that around 2/3 of communication is nonverbal. This lower mammal part of our brain is around 10 million years old, and language is pretty new for us as a species. So if it's 2/3 of communication, and most police work is communication and report writing, why does it make up less than 1% of our training? And it's the same for the military. If a lot of our job is communication and 2/3 of that is nonverbal and behavioral skills, it makes up such a tiny amount. Even at Harvard University, the same college that publishes a paper that says nonverbal communication is 93% of communication between people, that same university spends less than 12 minutes teaching a PhD student about nonverbal communication. So there's some kind of a disconnect, and I've never worked on it, but I tried to fill the gap here, and that's a lot of where our training comes in. And a lot of our training is in interrogation. I teach behavior profiling, criminal profiling, deception detection, and a lot of the persuasion and influence techniques and tactics for intelligence personnel. And we teach a lot of this to law enforcement around the country as well. That's why I feel very blessed that Virtual Academy's had me out here today. And I want to try to give you guys some extremely useful things that you can take home today, something that you can personally use in your personal life and on the job, and just kind of a taste of what we teach to our elite operator units, the SEAL teams or intelligence agencies. It's the same kind of material that we offer to law enforcement. So if we had two different guys, interrogators, two police interrogators, or two different police officers, or two salesmen, if we take the top Fortune 500 salesmen across the United States and pit two guys against each other, we got one guy, one officer, one interrogator, whoever. He's read all the books. He's got all the tactics sorted out. He's talked to every kind of instructor that teaches this stuff. And we have another guy who does the same job, who's got through the roof behavioral skills. He can read anybody, and he has the ability to connect with anybody that he talks to. Who's going to win? We universally agree that those are the skills. But when we have an issue, we tend to try to solve that with more tactics or more techniques. And I'll tell you what, the intelligence community faces the same issue. So we need more tactics and techniques, but we universally agree that second guy or that second woman would win the day. In a car sales environment, an interrogation environment, a patrol officer, this is all human communication. It doesn't become different communication once we're on patrol. It's the same thing. It's just humans. So that's where our training really comes in. And a lot of what we do for police especially is teach these behavior skills and teach them how to manufacture compliance in other people, just using psychology, just using basic stuff that I've put together over the course of these 20 years. And second to that, most importantly, we teach how to predict violent behavior. So based on my company's 19,000 hours of research, we've put together a list, which we'll go through today, of pre-violence indicators. What happens around 6 to 2 seconds before an attack occurs, before someone makes a choice to punch an officer in the face or reach out and try to get their gun out of the holster or attack a police officer in some way. And we'll talk about that today as well. So behavior skills matter. We all kind of agree that second person, when we made that comparison, that second person is the one that wins. That second officer is about 80% less likely to be attacked. That second officer is more well liked in their community. That second officer gets more compliance when they're on the job. It's the same in interrogation. It's psychology.